The Week 6 injury report is slightly shorter than previous weeks, which is always a welcome sight for fantasy owners. The reality is this is somewhat due to the fact that 4 teams Buffalo, Cincinnati, Dallas, Seattle are on bye. Unfortunately for many fantasy owners and New York Giants fans, this also is aided by the fact that many players are already ruled out for the week. Among quarterbacks and running backs, this group includes Andrew Luck, Sam Bradford, Terrence West and Paul Perkins. Rob Kelly is listed as doubtful and fantasy owners shouldn't count on him this week either. Below are the questionable QBs and RBs you need to be aware of. The wide receiver rundown can be found here. As always, be sure to watch the inactive reports prior to kickoff if you have one of the players that are on the bubble. Positional rankings: QBI, RBI, WRITI, DSTIKI. Flex teams on bye: Buffalo, Cincinnati, Dallas, Seattle. Note all times RET and all games are on Sunday, October 15th unless otherwise noted. Matthew Stafford ankle hamstring, QB, Detroit Lions at New Orleans Saints, 1 p.m. While Stafford limped around after the game in Week 5, he did practice all week and is fully expected to play in Week 6. He isn't 100% healthy and is likely on the injury report because he is receiving treatment for various injuries. While Stafford is banged up, he is still a QB1 in a good matchup. Marcus Mariota hamstring, QB, Tennessee Titans vs. Indianapolis Colts, 8:30 p.m. Mon. After missing Week 5 with a hamstring injury, Mariota is a game-time decision this week for the Monday night game. Unfortunately for fantasy owners, it's not worth waiting to see if he is going to play. His mobility, which has been his key to real-life and fantasy success, is going to be hampered regardless. While the Titans likely don't want to start Matt Castle again, they aren't going to risk their franchise quarterback. He's truly a game-time decision. Time: Montgomery Ribs, RB, Green Bay Packers at Minnesota Vikings, 1 p.m. After Montgomery sat out in Week 5, he did practice all week. However, taking hits to injured ribs in practice is different than taking hits in a game. Montgomery will likely be wearing a protective vest. With Aaron Jones playing as well as he did in Week 5, the Packers have no reason to rush Montgomery back into a full complement of snaps. Even if Montgomery is active, he still will likely be outsnapped by Jones. Bilal Powell, RB, New York Jets vs. New England Patriots, 1 p.m. After not practicing this week, Powell is listed as questionable. He's likely a game-time decision, however, fantasy owners should be prepared to be without him this week. Matt Forte, however, is expected back, which will cut into Elijah McGuire's workload. While the Patriots' defense isn't great, their run defense is stronger than their secondary. At this point, all Jets running backs are low RB3s. Rex Burkhead Ribs, RB, New England Patriots at New York Jets, 1 p.m. Burkhead hasn't seen game action since Week 2, and his performance so far this year has been lackluster. He did catch a touchdown in Week 2, but picking a Patriots running back for fantasy is always a challenge. Burkhead put in limited practices and will likely be active this week, however, his role is a giant question mark. For fantasy purposes, he should only be started in deeper leagues, especially in PPR formats. Written by Sarah Lewis, who is part of the Athlon Contributor Network and lives, eats, and breathes fantasy football. She also writes for SoCaledFantasyExperts.com among other sites. Have a fantasy football question? Send it to her on Twitter at Sarah Lewis 32.